I hope my message is for somebody. I hope that you never give up on yourself. I hope that if you do fail, hey, feel your feelings, go through what you need to go through, but girl, get up. Get up. We got things to do. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you are new here, my name is Vanessa. I'm a corporate baddie by day. I'm nurse babe by night. I'm a badass mom 365, 366, 24/7, 25/8. And I decided to go to school in the midst of all that. So we're here. This is our catch up. If you're not new here, then you already know it gets crazy at any point in time. So as you guys can tell by the title, I did fail nursing school. Okay. So, am I sad about it? No. And I'll get into that. What I have up my sleeve, I'll get into that. We'll deep dive. I'll tell you my honest opinion of my program and why I'm not sad about it. So for starters, as you guys know, I think I last left off on the previous vlog and I was going nuts about all these assignments that were due. It don't make no sense. And if you don't do it, it lowers your grade. If you do it, then you know your grade stays the same. Like, you know, there's no balance in it. I was complaining about the coursework load. I was complaining about the instructors because, again, you either get the instructor who is just here for a check, you get the instructor who's just here just to be here. You get the good instructor, and then you have the ones who need to retire ASAP. And I had the latter. So my instructors, they're good people. I'm not going to say they're bad people. They're good people. However, when it comes to a teaching platform, I think that it's time to retire. Maybe in their prime, they were like the best thing since sliced bread. But however, me going through this bridge program, they did not help me at all. So for starters, their mindset is basically, you're a nurse, so you should know what to do. And while I see what you're saying, I don't appreciate that mindset because you have LPNs from all walks of life. Like, you know, not everybody's at bedside. Some are administrative. Some work remote. Like, you know, some people don't know these skills that we're about to practice or what we should or shouldn't be doing because it's been that long since they've been to school. So for me, with going into that mindset, that played a part in it. But again, my accountability is my accountability in this. But for starters, the instructors, I just cannot deal. I will say this is the same school that I went through for my LPN program. I will say for my LPN program, as you guys know, there were several changes that were done. We were literally the guinea pigs of that program, with several changes being of the whole entire curriculum, how it was presented, down to the teachers. And my class literally has complained, and we complained all the way to the board of nursing, and so much things got done in secrecy, and the school tried to cover their tracks with a lot of things, but that's not either here or there. But either way, I had a better support system in my LPN program, in my opinion, than I did with this bridge program. So that's just the preface of it. What should have been 16 weeks down into about half that, 8 weeks. It was really 10, but I'm not going to include the week that we had off or the week that we just had to do a lab simulation, because that was, you only have to go for 2 hours and out of that entire week. So we're condensing it down to 8 weeks. I believe for those 8 weeks, that was a lot of information. Again, none of this stuff is new. However, going into an RN mindset, because we've been thinking as an LPN for so long, is, for me, it played a big part. My job played a big part because I know what to do. You know, I know how to keep these patients alive. I know how to keep them stable. Like, I know what to do. I don't know everything, but I know what to do. And again, I will always advocate for these NCLEX style questions because all of them could be correct, and you have to choose the ones that is most correct. Even if in practice you can see that that can kill your patient. Neither here nor there. I'm not the smartest apple in the bunch, but you know, it is what it is. So I will say, if you are bridging, my recommendation is to definitely refresh yourself on the NCLEX style questions. Refresh yourself. always remember that you are no longer an LPN in this instance, okay? What you are in this instance when you read this question is a person who has no knowledge of what the hell inside the hospital is. You're a student. You are an RN student in an acute care setting. Forget what you know. Like, literally, that's my biggest issue. Forget what you know. And I just couldn't. So I was very not combative, but I was strongly opinionated on those answers. And even though I was right, and my classmates could attest to that, even the instructors can attest to that, that's just not correct per Nurse Think or whatever format we were doing at the time. But it is what it is. Around week 3 or 4, I knew that this program wasn't for me. And I say that in a sense of, I knew I'm sitting in class. I'm listening to lecture, and I'm not there. Like, I can't express to you how much of not there. Like my body is here, but I'm not here, because I got irritated to the point of, what am I here for? Well, I'm attending this class for hours purposes, just to be put on paper, but what am I here for? Because you're not teaching me anything. You're not helping me do anything. All you're doing is reading from this PowerPoint. All you're doing is reading this case study, and we're answering NCLEX style questions. I could do this via Zoom. I can do this at home. You're not helping me think like a nurse, as they love to say. Like, you're not helping me. And that was the biggest thing for me. You're not helping me. So in the middle of lecture, I actually was scrolling and to look for other schools, because I already felt it in my heart. I'm not a quitter, but damn, like, the writing was on the wall probably week 3 or 4 for me, but nonetheless, I pushed through. Again, I was still passing at this point. Where failing comes into part for me is failing the final by 0.4. So less than half a point. So you can imagine the way I was gritting my teeth in that. But in a sense, I kind of felt like it was a weight lifted off me, because it was just getting to be too much. I had to fight with my job just to go down to part-time. Because when I onboarded with them, I did accept a bonus, and that was for full-time. And my job basically said, well, you're gonna have to pay back the full bonus, like, it's not prorated. That didn't sit right with me, because I'm already approaching a year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a 2-year contract. I'm rolling my eyes really hard. It's a 2-year contract, and you telling me you're not gonna prorate any of that. So I think I told you guys this, like, I really had to advocate for me going down to part-time, which led to me basically finding out how much the part-time bonus was at that time, the full-time bonus, which I got, finding the difference, and say, I will pay you back the difference to go part-time. And they accepted that. You know, and I really don't think it should be that hard, but they just literally made it that hard. Getting into the program was another thing. I chose the traditional route because I didn't want to go through my job. My job actually had a partnership with this school and another school, and I just didn't want to go through my job, because that meant I had to sign another 2-year contract, and by the time I finished the program, completed the NCLEX, I would have to start up again as full-time. And I'm not gonna hold you, I'm a part-time princess now. Like, I love part-time. I love it for several reasons, but you know, like, I was fighting with that too. So to get off the wait list for this school, I had to literally, well, I didn't have to do it. They called me and they was like, hey, there's no more spots on the traditional side, but you do work for us, so do you want to come on for, you know, the hospital side? And I'm like, no, I don't. But I also didn't want to wait another year to complete this program. So I did sign on, and of course I'm reading my contract. I have to do 2 years upon completion, and it has to be full time. And I'm not taking another bonus because it's not that deep. So I was like, okay, well, what if I break this contract, what exactly am I paying you guys back? So they said, well, we pay for your school and your books and your uniform, so you would have to give us that money back. So I said, okay, so if I beat you to paying those things, what are you holding over my head? And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's people like me who make them reinforce their contract even more, like, you know, because I can find a loophole in a heartbeat, like, you know, like if you give me some time, I can figure it out. I'm definitely a problem solver. So for me, it was like, well, if you're not paying, you say that you're gonna pay for my school, but if I beat you to paying for school, my uniforms and everything, and you're not contributing, like the money that's going into the account, I'm not touching. I'm gonna tell them to refund it to you so you have nothing against me. So I don't owe you another 2 years. But I got to go to nursing school outside of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I used you for the nursing school proportion. So that was my plan, and that's how I beat them. But however, I would say they played me at my own game, because I was beating them. I paid for a majority of things, and then one day they were just like, oh, money in my account. And I was like, oh, these bitches. Like, you know, like, so I do have a proportion that I have to pay back, and it's not a lot, thankfully, but, you know, it is what it is. I'd rather pay things out of pocket, be mad at myself that I wasted my money, than to owe someone. So that's where I stand on that. But like I said, that proportion of it, to just fight with them just to go to school, it was a fight. Now, you're saying, oh, but you failed by 0.4, can't you challenge it? I can. The problem is, with my particular school, they don't let you view the test after you've taken them. So you can't even advocate for yourself at no point in time. They used to, but then they got caught up. They got caught up because an instructor said that this was the answer to one thing, and then everybody on the test put the answer to what she said, and then when they reviewed the test, they was like, no, you said blah 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 blah, and she was very adamant that that's not what she said. Whole time a classmate had recorded the lecture, and it was like, no, you said it, and played it. From that point on, they stopped sharing the test. And like, I'm telling you, I feel like teaching at that point and instructing has went down to shit, because they're like, fine, you read it and you figure it out. That's literally, like, you know what I'm saying? And it should not be like that. So now in the curriculum, they don't allow us to review our tests. So we have to trust that whatever computer, whatever manual grade that they put in is the exact grade that we got. There's no way to contest it. Their excuse and logic and reasoning behind it is we have to, if they allowed us to see the test, they would have to change the questions, because it became compromised. It's very NCLEX style. That's their reasoning behind it, and it's full of shit. Like, you know, so again, I know I don't feel like arguing. Okay. I took it to the chin. I'm okay with that. But outside of all that, I did say that there was a but. So you guys already know that I am an underdog through and through, okay? Never count me out, okay? Bet against me and that'll be the worst mistake you ever make. So with that being said, your girl is already applied to another school. I already applied to another school. All my eggs were never in one basket. It was just convenient at the time, so I always have a plan and a backup plan. So my backup plan right now is in the works. I actually applied to Excelsior University. So before I get into the tidbits of Excelsior University, this video is not sponsoring them. This is my personal opinion. I did my research on this. So with Excelsior University, it is online based, okay? So I could do a separate video about what I found out, how I found out, or again, you guys can research it. Let me know if that's something you want to see or do. But however, for me, and I'm gonna say it again, for me, Excelsior University works for me in my favor, because again, my LPN license is already a compact license, so that's fine. The states in which accept Excelsior are the states that fit the compact license. I think mine is 2 states, and that's okay, because those are states that I wouldn't practice in anyway, because I'm not going there. At no point in time was I ever going there, so that's all right. Excelsior College is a college based in New York. However, they do have an online program for the ADN and the BSN proportion of it. I will say that the BSN proportion is accredited, while the ADM proportion is not. They had lost their accreditation. However, everything else on the scale is accredited. So that being said, I know you're probably like, Vanessa, it's not accredited, don't do it. I'm gonna do it. Why am I gonna do it? Because the school is recognized by the state board, meaning it can legally operate as a nursing school, and it is recognized. Now, in my state, as you guys know, I live in North Carolina. North Carolina State Boards recognizes that school because that school, for their ADM program, satisfies the requirements for the North Carolina State Board of Nursing. So North Carolina recognizes the school. Several other states recognize the school also for the ADM program. And that's okay, because those several states are actually states that I would actually travel to. The states that don't recognize it for the ADN means you can't sit for the NCLEX in those states. I'm not sitting for the NCLEX in those states, so I don't care. I'm sitting for the NCLEX in North Carolina. And North Carolina Board of Nursing recognizes the school. We're good on that, right? What that does mean, if I decide to go for my BSN, I would either have to continue my education at their school, because again, they can recognize themselves, and I could just go back and it'll be no problem to get my BSN through them. Or if I do decide to go to, let's say, A&T, I would have to see if A&T recognizes them personally. Now, the school is accredited through ACEN, and it is a regionally accredited school, so it has both accreditation. So I don't feel like the colleges in North Carolina will challenge it, all because everything is already accredited. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a chance and a gamble that I have to take, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Again, the end goal was to be an RN by 2025, and I'm still on track. So long story short, I applied. I got in. Classes start at the end of August. So my nursing journey did not end just because I failed nursing school. Life did not end when I failed nursing school. It didn't end. All we had to do was put it didn't end. There was no period. That was a comma. Okay, we pivoted, and I'm grateful through and through for that. Right? I will say, if you guys ever fail, do not give up. I mean, express your emotions. Don't, for me, initially, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I felt some type of way. I was angry. I shed a few tears, but you know, after I had to do a self-care day and get myself together, and then I was like, all right, but what are we gonna do about it? I didn't stay there for too long, because again, life did not end just because I failed nursing school. And I'm not perfect. I'm not Miss Perfect Patty. I'm not good at all things. So I just have to figure out what's best for me. And honestly, this school is online, so I don't start clinicals. They have several clinical sites in Charlotte, so perfect. I can pick my clinical sites, great. And I don't do clinicals until the last 2 classes, and I'm okay with that. If you tell me I just need to take 2 weeks off work, I will take 2 weeks off both jobs and just knock out clinicals. Like, that's okay to me. I can do that. I can sacrifice that. That is no problem to me. But I don't start clinicals till next year. So right now it's just the online workload, and I'm excited to show you guys that. So at the end of the day, there's a silver lining. Okay, so I failed, but I'm going back to school at the end of the month. We still gonna be Vanessa RN 2025. That is the goal. That's always been the goal, and I'm gonna keep the main thing. So with that being said, that's it. That's my story. That's what happened. Like I said, I hope you guys, I hope my message is for somebody. I hope that you never give up on yourself. I hope that if you do fail, hey, feel your feelings, go through what you need to go through, but girl, get up. Get up. We got things to do. And where there's a will, there's a way. And I hope you find your way.